now. So we'll be talking about productivity at work, touching on, that feeling of burnout, that feeling of I'm tired, that feeling of I'm not at my best, that feeling of what am I doing here? Yeah, we'll have that conversation. I'd like you to share with me if you've had such a moment or such a period in your time as a worker. All right? So send me those messages via WhatsApp to 0809 030 6416, 0809 030 6416. This is the sunny side. My name is Constance Mega. All right, 2 o'clock. I was actually given an update. Sorry, more like a rundown of what the show will be like today. All right. So I already told you that 1 p.m. we'll bring you trending stories, after which we'll continue our conversation and also wrap up. And then at 1:30, we have BBC's Talk Your Own. It's going to last for 30 minutes. At 2 p.m., we have the news update, and then Family Matters. Your series will not be live in the studio today. Remember, they've been talking to us about a particular summit that comes up in the month of May, on the 1st of May, actually. All right, so that's the Parenting Summit. So 360-degree Parenting Summit is happening today. So yeah, what's it now? I'll be playing a repeat broadcast of what we had last week. So that's going to come up after the news at 2. All right. And then 3 p.m. we'll bring you the news also. That's Rivers Today. And that will be the last thing on the show today. So, yeah. Let me get back to what Raheem Sterling actually said in that particular post. It was an interview, rather. All right. So that you can as well share yours. I'm seeing someone's message on Facebook and the person says, I'm not a government worker. Honey, we are not talking about government workers. It is Workers' Day. It's not Government Workers' Day. There are private establishments that their workers did not show up today, and it's not because they felt like not showing up. Even right here, there are people who are not working today, right? In this organization, because it's Workers' Day. All right, so the English footballer Raheem Sterling has said that he has never been in such a poor vein of form before in his football career as he is right now at Chelsea. Now, the thing is that back in July, he became the first signing of the Todd Boehly era in a £50 million deal. But right now, he has failed to emulate the goal-scoring form that actually made him a regular in Manchester City's title-winning teams. So he's 28 though, all right? And so he has scored about just 4 Premier League goals this campaign. But in his last 5 seasons in Manchester, he scored about 78 league goals. Wow. Anyway, so in an interview with The Sun, he said something. He said, sometimes you have lows. I haven't been in this situation in my career so far, but I am more than up to the challenge. We are disappointed when we come off the pitch and feel angry and disappointed. There are times when we finish a game, you just sit in the changing room looking into space because you can't understand what has just happened. And I'm sure this is also something that happens with people who are not footballers. There are times you just sit down and you're asking yourself, what am I doing with my life, really? Like, what? Why am I still here? Why am I still at this particular point in my career? Why am I still in this company at this point? Even the business owner, sometimes people shut down their business because they feel like they're not moving forward. And they can't really pinpoint what it is exactly that is causing them not to move forward. And then crazy enough, sometimes we might be the ones when we evaluate ourselves, right? We feel like I'm not making progress as I ought to, or I'm not making progress at all. And some other person somewhere is admiring you and looking at you and wishing and praying that someday they would be like you and all of that stuff. But you're not feeling the same way. Yeah. I've actually been in such a company before. Crazy enough, I've worked in a radio station where I was told, that was when I was starting my career, I was actually told that I would not be paid. They did not have money to pay me. Fine, I took the job. But there was just something about the atmosphere there. It made you feel like you could fly. Maybe I was the one feeling that way. The atmosphere was so friendly, was so welcoming. And then I also worked in another place where I was being paid, although sometimes they would just hold back the salary for whatever reasons, right? But there was just something about that environment that would make me feel like, what am I still doing here? Yeah. Even with all the accolades, with people saying, oh, you're doing wonderfully well, I felt like, what am I doing here? I felt like I wasn't moving forward while I was there. It was something about the atmosphere in that workplace. It was something about the management and the way they managed things. So how about you? Have you ever been in that situation as a worker? Talk to me about that. 080-0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. So the experts actually have a word for what that is. Yeah, crazy enough, they actually do. That time when you're feeling some form of exhaustion that involves a sense of reduced accomplishments or loss of personal identity. They have a word for it, I'll tell you. It's called burnout. And they're saying you can actually identify it. You can sit down and, look out for some things and tell yourself, okay, this is what I'm experiencing right now. This is what I'm going through. But then how do I become productive again, right? Someone can actually be making so much money. Someone can be, what's the word now? Doing well, perhaps in the eyes of the world, in the eyes of every other person, that they are advancing in their career. Oh, he moved from here to there. He's now at that stage. He's now at the other stage. But the person who is moving up that ladder is not feeling the same way. Yeah, the person is not feeling like that. Sometimes the person gets so much to the top that they begin to feel like they've lost themselves. They begin to feel like, I'm living for this work, or I'm living for what people are saying. I'm living for the struggle. Yeah, that's what the labor people used to call it, struggle. Yeah, labor struggle. Anyway, I'm not living for myself. But this is someone who is advanced in their career. They're moving up, ahead, going forward. In the eyes of everybody, they are doing well. But they are not feeling complete. They're not feeling relaxed. They're not feeling rested. Something is happening to someone's mental health or emotional health. All right, send me those messages on WhatsApp to 0809-030-6416. 0809-030-6416. All right, Matthew Jomat says, good afternoon. I'm a civil servant, a teacher in Rivers State. There has not been promotion for over 12 years. But we thank God that we've gone for promotion interview. But will there be arrears? Teachers are owed February and March 2016 salary. You say, I'm begging the state government to pay us before the state governor to pay us before he leaves office. Matthew. All right. Thank you very much, Matthew. So working in an establishment and your salary is being withheld for quite a long time. It does something. It does something to your mind, really. It should actually be maybe we should call it a criminality, really. For someone to work for you for a while and when it's time to pay, you don't pay the person. Yeah. It should actually be seen as criminality, really. I've been in an establishment where I worked, and for 4 months or so, no salary. By the time I said I was resigning, they said, oh, we were owing you, we did not know. Quite funny. So have you been in that situation? Have you been in that period in your life as a worker? Whether when you were just starting off your career, all right, or starting off working, or after you've advanced to some certain level, all right. What was that particular moment? What was that thing that made you feel like I don't know, I can't keep doing this? So I read a post the other day on Twitter. A guy was talking about how he worked for someone who was such a tyrant. Yeah, the way they described their boss, that made work that was supposed to be sweet, to become so tiring. And they kept asking themselves, God, when? In an establishment that had young people. But they kept asking themselves, when will I leave this place? What am I doing with my life? Am I making progress at all? Why am I still here? So sometimes depression can actually be a reason why you're feeling like you're not really doing much. You're feeling like you've lost yourself. You're feeling like I'm not really accomplishing much. Not necessarily that you are not accomplishing much, but someone is depressed. So tell me what you have experienced, all right? Let's hear from you. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0002. Or you can as well send a message via WhatsApp to 0809-030-6416. 0809-030-6416. And then I'm taking messages on Facebook, so get onto Facebook and join the conversation right there. Nigeria Info 92.3 PH, or you can tweet at Nigeria Info PH. So I saw a movie. I just more like I did not sit to actually watch the movie. So I was just passing by, right, in the sitting room, and someone was watching the movie, and I was asking, "What's the movie about?" And she says, the young man has never said no to anybody for like 1 year in his life. So for everything he's been asked to do, he has said yes for 1 whole year. And it's beginning to affect him. So yeah, that's another thing that could actually lead to a burnout, right? You're working in a company or you're doing a kind of job where you're taking on a lot of workload. It might even be your business. Yeah. Hello, artisans. Hi. Yeah. So it might be your own business. And you're taking on a lot. You're not saying no ever. And then one day, you're feeling like, what am I doing with my life? Hi, Covenant from Iguruta. Hello.
Hello, this is Covenant from Iguruta.
All right, Covenant, go on.
I've been in that kind of a condition. I'm a fashion designer. When I started, there was one school that gave me school uniform to sew as a contract. So I was sewing for this school, and I wasn't going for inside me. I was just stuck on one place, and I was asking myself, what am I doing? It was like I was not going forward. I was showing the school were putting more pressure. Wow. The people I asked to help me to facilitate the work were not there. The burden was so big, and I was like, what am I doing? And the money they paid me was so little. One day I sat and I said, no, I can't continue, because in the midnight I can't sleep. I have to work harder to make sure I deliver. But when I looked to that, I said, no, I can't continue it again. I went to the school and said, please, you can give this contract to another person, because I don't have rest, I don't have peace of mind. Everything around me was just bothering me.
Wow.
So I just had to quit it because I wasn't going for it. Because the day I just sat down, I was like, what am I doing? So it was so hard for me, so I had to return the work.
Wow. And after you did, you got yourself back?
Yes, because it just kept me on one place. And I wasn't going forward. I just got tired.
Wow. All right. Thank you very much for calling, Covenant. That's an interesting one, yeah? It's the same thing that could also happen to someone who is not maybe an artisan or doing work that requires using your hands, right? It could also be work that requires using your hands to write something, and you're writing the same things over and over and over, like it's monotonous kind of work. It gets to a point where you feel like you have, I mean, that's a job somebody's dreaming to have, right? But you sit down there and it feels like, what's all this? Been writing the same thing over and over and over again. Been doing the same things over and over. You know, you feel like you're not using your brains enough. You feel like you have a lot that your brain can actually offer, but you're not utilizing it. You know, you're just there. Especially when you have conversations with other people and you see how much you can actually talk about, but then you get back to work and it's like you've been tied up somewhere, put inside a box, and that's it. So every day of your life, that's what you're doing. Every single day. It's the same kind of things. Well, there are people who actually enjoy doing the same kind of thing. It's more like, I beg, nobody should come and stress me. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. There are some people like that. And then there are people who do not mind. All they know is that at the end of the month, I'm going to get my salary. They will pay me. Whether I work or not, whether I utilize my brain or not, whether I try to do something new or not. The fact that I can dress up and show up somewhere and they say, I'm a worker here. That's all that matters. So that feeling that I'm not making progress, that feeling of I have lost myself, that feeling of things are not really moving as fast as I want them to, especially when you have actually put in so much and you're not seeing enough results. Yeah, if you've maybe taken courses, you've sought advice, some people even get a coach. They're paying for all of these things. They're doing all of these things. And after a while, it feels like, it's like we're doing the same things over and over again. It's like I'm doing so much and I'm getting so little. So yeah, Raheem Sterling, he actually feels that way as well. And he said, I have never been in this situation in my career before. And then he also admits, well, sometimes you have lows. And then I like the part where he actually talked about, some form of uncertainty. Because sometimes even the experts will want to say, sit down and find out what is causing it, Sometimes you don't have an explanation. Sometimes you can't really say, this is why things are not moving. Yeah, it is the reality of life. So the young man says, we finish a game, we get into the changing room, just looking into space because you really cannot say what just happened. You can't say, okay, it's because I didn't run as fast as I should. It's because I didn't tackle as much as I should. It's because you can't say. You've trained, you've retrained, you've studied, you rehearsed, you showed up. You did all you're supposed to do, but you're not getting the kind of results you actually wanted. So burnout can actually happen at any point in time in your life as a worker. It's Richie Rema chatting from Epe, Lagos at my family farm. We train pig and we produce palm kernel. Today's work was good and nice, and it's about to rain here in Epe, Lagos. All right. Happy New Month to you, Richie. So I want someone to share with me, their stories. Some person has shared his. What about you? Talk to me. It could be that point in your career or in your work life that you felt like you've achieved so much. You know, there are highs and there are lows, right? So you could be telling me points where there are also times someone gets so much, you know, they achieve so much, and they sometimes might not really be able to, what's the word now, explain to you how they were able to get there. Yeah, because it's the same thing everybody did that they did. It's not like they did any special thing. No. Every other person is doing the same thing they did, but for whatever reason, they're where they are. So productivity at work. Being able to dedicate time to specific tasks, completing them, and ending your workday with a quality output. It can actually be an overall measure of your productivity. And then the experts are also saying that if you do not have methods that you have put in place for maybe organizing things, for managing your time, for tracking your tasks, things you're supposed to do, or even, you know, setting priorities the way they should be, they say your productivity and efficiency can also be affected. And how about when you've done all of these things? You've done all of these things, right? But you're not getting as much as you have put in. Time management is in place. Everything is actually in place. Priority, everything. Organization, you've done all of that. But you're not seeing as much results as you ought to. Or perhaps you have all of these, you know what to do, you know how to go about it, but you have a boss that is difficult to please. Yeah, they also make your job very tiring. Oh boy. So you're doing everything you can, but it seems like you're wasting your time. Because you're trying to please someone who, for whatever reason, has chosen not to be pleased in this life. Because they too have their own issues they are dealing with. So they try to take it out on other people. Yeah. Sometimes they don't even care how it affects their workers. So far, they are looking at their accounts and money is coming in. So, yeah, when we talk about productivity, yeah, sometimes it's not really about money. It's not really about money. It's about the way you feel. It's about you. At the end of the day, how do you feel about that work that you've done? So you're making the money. But do you feel complete? Do you feel like you are doing what you're supposed to do? Do you feel enough even? Some people are not feeling, they're not feeling like they are enough. They're not feeling like they're even on the right track. Okay, I'm seeing a message here on WhatsApp. Anonymous says, if you tie your value as a human being to your work, you will have mental health challenges and many reasons to cry because anything will shake you. My husband and I got to the tops of our individual fields by the ages of 33 and 34, and we were both burnt out and being pulled in different directions. And she says it was nearly fatal. We knew it was bad when I told him I would rather your entire company burned to the ground than lose myself, you or us, over people's expectations because of our positions. I cannot do this. Wow. All right. So what did you do? Because I'm sure that people who would look at that particular company at that point in time would be like, oh, I wish I'm working there. I wish I'm with these people. I wish I'm part of this team. And they wouldn't know that someone is wishing hell on that same company. All right, you say his now former company crumbled within less than 6 months of him walking away from it. I'm the queen of ghosting people that are no longer good for me, so I made myself unavailable for many projects that people wanted me for. Oh my goodness. All right, so she's still typing. I'm going to read the rest of the messages as they come in. So you might be saying, where do I start from? This conversation today. Where will I start from? Oh, well, start from somewhere. All right, just share with us. It could be your lowest moment. It could be your highest moment. Whichever one. Do share with us. I'm sure someone is going to learn a thing or two from you. Like the tailor who said he took on a contract to sew school uniforms for a particular school, and at some point he felt like, I'm not moving forward. In fact, I have lost myself. You're working day and night. You can't sleep. I'm pretty sure that there were also days you did not eat and you didn't even realize you hadn't eaten because you were trying to meet up a target. And at the end of the day, it seemed as though it wasn't even we weren't even making headway. And so we had to just go back to the school and terminate the contract. Say, can you please get another person to do this? Because I'm not doing it anymore. So sometimes we get so engulfed in becoming productive, in that mindset that sometimes we have, thinking that that's what it means to be productive. You want to make more money. You want to show people that you have grown, that you have advanced, and you're putting in all the work. For some people, it's education, academics. That's it for them. So maybe they come from a family where people are professors and they went to polytechnic. So you just have to prove to them that you can do more than that. So you finish, and then you decide to get a degree. You finish from that. You're looking to get a master's. You finish from that. The next thing is to go for your PhD. The next thing is go for professorship. Like, there's never an end to your days of schooling. Sometimes you feel like, what in God's name am I doing with my life? I know I met a lady some years ago. Yeah, she was close to my mom, who was actually like that, from a family where they too like book. And she was struggling so she can get to that point. And trust me, it was a struggle. Hi, Clement from NTA Road. Hello, Clement.
Hi, Constance. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, let me quickly share my experience with you.
All right.
And the listeners. Okay, burnout. I would say for me, it has been I think the low moment first. As employed, I only stopped working for salary since 2009. Yep, since then, I must say that there are days or there are times when I will be like, this is not what I could see before. Like, okay, let me prepare my CV and send out, which I actually do, and when I get turned down, perhaps one of the reasons when I ask, okay, why am I not qualified for this and all that? They will say, we cannot pay you. What you carry, we can't pay you. So this is what I usually do. I will not say, okay, well, if I decide that I have value to give you, can I come in through this aspect, this is what I'm going to do when you need my service, and because I know that I have something that you need.
All right, Clement, please, I have to go on a commercial break.
Port Harcourt Afri Health Conferences and Exhibitions. Healthcare providers and entrepreneurs are invited to Port Harcourt Afri Health Expo on Thursday 18 to Saturday 20th May at the Hotel Presidential Network.
I struggled a little bit with the topic for today's conversation. I just knew what to talk about, but the very word to use as my topic was just a problem, right? So someone suggested, okay, how about we call it burnout? I think job burnout or unproductivity. I was like, there's this thing about my mind, right? I just like to hear the positive, and I felt like, all right, let's do productivity. And then talk about the lows and also the highs, right? But somehow I'm finding myself focusing more on the lows people feel at work. Yeah? So, yeah. Okay, so some of the risk factors or some of the things that may be contributing to you having a burnout at work. Number one is that you have a heavy workload and you work for long hours. Like the tailor who called in to say, I took a contract to sew uniform. And it was taking my life, not just my time. So yes, that is one thing that could also cause that. And another thing is that you could be struggling with work-life balance. It's part of the things I mentioned in my opening when I started, you know. So you could be feeling the way you're feeling because now you have new life challenges. And trying to balance it out with the work that you've been doing for a while becomes a problem. It could be that now you're married, so more responsibility on your hands. Or it could be that you've decided to move. You moved elsewhere. Or somehow your family now depends on you for something that they weren't even depending on you for before now. It could just be anything. It could be that, okay, now you need more money so that you can buy something. Perhaps take a course. Perhaps buy land. Or even buy a car. It could be just about anything. And all of a sudden, the same work, you've been doing it for a while, begins to feel like, it's like I'm not moving forward in my life. So yeah. So that inability to have that, to control, to have that work-life balance, it's also a problem, right? And then another thing is that you could be working in a helping profession. For example, healthcare. Sometimes we don't even consider what those people who are taking care of sick people go through. Oh, we went to the hospital. The doctor was not there at 12 a.m. How can a doctor not be around at that time? Yeah, I know. They're supposed to work shifts, right? But do you realize that sometimes, just the same way you go on leave in your own workplace, they also need to go on leave. And someone is covering for another person. Someone is taking on two people's shifts. And they lose their minds sometimes. They actually do. Some of them, they cry. They feel like they are stuck. All right. We'll come back to this. Let's go off now for the news trending stories. I'm going to return. I'm still taking your calls. To stay tuned.